Hello everybody, welcome to my workbench. Well, this is part 2 of our transmitter, old school CW transmitter. I just want to show you some progress, what I've done to make some progress. I'll firstly explain what it all is. This is the main tuning capacitor. This is the band switch of the driver, and we have here the antenna tuning, and here in this hole then become another switch, but this for the antenna coil. I'll show you a bit, and I'll show you what I've done. There we go, let's have a look. We can see this, yes we can. Okay, there you have our driver. And there we have the 6V6. I decided, at long last, not to use the EL34, and mainly because of the power that it gives. This gives hardly any more power than the 6V6, so I stuck to the 6V6. So I put that in, so you can see here the antenna capacitor, and here the tuning capacitor, double tuning capacitor from the oscillator. See, this is all fairly big, but yeah, it shouldn't be an old school CW transmitter if it wasn't that big. Okay, so I will show you on the bottom also. Have a look. Oops, have a look if you can see properly. Yeah, you can see here the coil. Tuning coil, antenna tuning coil. So you know, from the 6V6, it's quite a big coil. I didn't use that drain pipe, so I did find that in my stock. I made that a long time ago. Then you have here the switch on that side, and has to become a switch down here in this hole here, approximately around here. We have the 160 meter connection, the 80 meter connection, the 40 meter connection, and the 20 meter connection. So yeah, you can see it's coming along nicely. There will be another coil between the oscillator valve and the power valve. So I will mount that in here, somewhere on the side. So I have to decide how to do that still. So that will be the main tuning between the oscillator and the output valve. So there you go, guys, chaps. You can see it is coming along nicely. The only thing what I have to do now is to get this frequency counter in here. I marked this out already. And there we go. Well, there's not much to say actually, so just keeping on, and we make then later on a layout from the front, as you saw on the signal generator. It's beautifully white, so it is just an A4 paper, but I will print, and then I'll mark this all out what this has to be, and then I will take some short cardboard, stick it on there and put it in the right place, and then stick that to the front, and then you have a nice surface forward to look at. So that's very important that the transmitter looks properly. The only thing I have to do next is, apart from putting the switch in, is to put some screening in here, because it is very necessary to put a screening in here because of feedback. So I have to put that in here, so you have that thing already. So I will bend that over a bit, and just bend it over there, and just mount it on the bottom. So that will provide me enough screening from the oscillator side. So if it's not that way, it's going to work back on the oscillator. So if the power comes up there, it works back on that, then you're in trouble. The other point is you could put it that way, The other thing I was considering to put some to put the power supply in there. I decided not to. I'll tell you why. Hold on. See, this little transformer here. This little transformer would fit in there nicely. Yeah, and it would be able to feed the oscillator. Secondly, I have to have a transformer to feed the end stage. So apart from the fact that it's going to be quite heavy, point is I probably won't be able to get it on there, so I have to have at least 350 volts on the end stage. I presume this one is 250 volts. That would be enough for the power supply for the oscillator. Also the 6.3 voltage for the heater. So anyway, so I have to decide on that still. If I can find a core where I can get it on, but I have my doubts because there's 9 turns per volt on this core at least, and if you have 235 volts, that makes 9 times 235, you get 2000 turns about. And if you go up to 350 volts, then you have 9 times 350, so you know where I'm going with this, it's 3000. I'm never going to get it on here, apart from the fact I have to have a 6.3 1 amp for this friend up here, so that cord is probably too small. So I have to go to the factory to perhaps get one of the smaller ones, but I have another core here, and let's have a look. It's still here, yeah. I have another core here. It's a bit better, a bit bigger. I can show you. And we can make a transformer of that. That could suffice. That would suffice to get it all in. There you go. I would turn this over because of the magnetic field what it was creating. Oh, he will probably say, well, it's going to hum. That could do it, but there will be a screen between it. So it is for 50 or 100 hertz. 60 for you lads over in the United States will be that 60 hertz, so that 120 hertz, a hum for 120. Failing that, gentlemen, with the risk of creating hum, I will proceed that way. Perhaps I will change my mind. So you see, it fits in there. Eh? So why should you create another box with a power supply? And yeah, you know, why should you do that? So what I can do is screen it off, and I think it is 650 hertz. Well, I won't make any trouble, I suppose. I did it on other occasions. So there you go, guys. All you have to do is then create this transformer. Nice, isn't it? So well, it's coming along nicely, and it's going to be heavy. Oh my god. It's going to be heavy, but there again we have our own power supply in there. So you can see how much you can do if you put your mind to it. If you're really so enthusiastic as I am, then you won't let up, and you keep going. Oh yes, there's another point I have to tell you. I will take this transformer out for a while. What I've done, you see this capacitor here, and the coil underneath here. Yeah, I did work with this grid dipper, the older grid dipper, to find out where those connections would be if you have to tune the antenna. Okay, yeah, there's the antenna tuner actually, because if this meter will go up say to 60 milliamps, the sooner if the coil comes into resonance, then the meter will dip to 40 or 35 milliamps. So that's how you know the antenna coil is tuned to the antenna, and actually the signal goes out. Okay, so that are the switch. That is the switch for the power switch for the end stage. This will be the switch for the oscillator. And you will ask yourself, why have you done that? Because you don't want to have any signal outgoing if you are tuning. First of all, then the power has to go off totally on the end valve. Well, it will be off anyway because of the key, unless I'm mistaken. We are keying in the screen grid, so it gives a nice straight tone then. But in this case the valve will be totally blocked. It won't give any excitation to the valve, so that will be stopped off as well. So then on the other part, you want to heat up the valves before you start this transmitter off. You should want to start off with a transmitter that is cold in that area. So you have to make sure that you are at least 20 minutes at least heating before you even start up the oscillator. So you can do that with that switch. You can tune the oscillator then with the frequency on the frequency meter and the frequency guard, and then you can switch on the end stage and you tune the antenna. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So that's what I was thinking, so that's what I was going to do. Anyway, as you can see, it has to be totally an enclosure, so that no signal comes out. I've done that with the RF signal generator. I succeeded in that. So I will put in a metal bottom part on here, and a metal bottom top part on here, and a metal back part on there. I have here the other thing here that was on there, but I decided not to use it because there are so many holes in there. So inside you won't see that, but the outside it doesn't look so nice. So I will not use that thing. So I will just use the connections for the power lead and the fuse, and the antenna connector will go on there on the back. So anyway guys, that's so far I got, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you give me your thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.